Hi, welcome to the Contra Costa County and Tri-Valley Eldercare channel. I'm Stephanie, I'm with Horizon Elder Law and Estate Planning, and today I'm here with Carolyn Gwynn with Paragon Real Estate Group out of Danville. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Today we're going to learn a little bit more about Carolyn and her background and where she services and all those fun things. So if you would like to get started.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into real estate.
Well, I've been in sales my entire career. Before going into real estate, I sold software to major organizations. And about 10 years ago, I decided I would like to have a more personal relationship with my clients and decided to go into real estate because real estate was always my hobby. So I've been with Paragon Real Estate Group for a number of years now. Our headquarters is in San Francisco, but I'm based out of the Danville office.
Great. So I know your office is in Danville, but what areas do you actually serve?
I concentrate in Alamo, Danville, Walnut Creek, and Lafayette for the most part, but I also do a lot of business in San Ramon, and I have done business in Orinda as well. So mostly the Diablo Valley area and the La Miranda area. I grew up in Walnut Creek. I live in Alamo, so I know the areas very well.
Great. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you are, there's a difference between dealing with senior clients and younger generations. What differences have you seen that you can help in?
Well, there are differences. I've noticed that if I text a senior, I don't get a response, but that was just a little joke.
Mm-hmm.
I think when dealing with seniors, patience is one of the most important things a real estate agent could have, because sometimes they can't make decisions very quickly. They need to consult with their children, which I think is very important. So when dealing with seniors, I feel that it's important to not only have patience, but to lay out all the options for them so that they clearly understand the different avenues they might take when buying or selling a property. I've worked with seniors who have sold their main family house and then moved to Rossmore, which is always a challenge because there's things that they haven't been familiar with before, like mutuals with big price tags on a monthly basis. So it's important to be able to sit down with them and explain and let folks know what their options are.
Great. In dealing with people that are moving to Rossmore and things like that, I'm sure you face a lot of downsizing issues. And how do you help with that?
That's always fun. Actually, I really enjoy it. I have resources that I bring in to help my senior clients and even my non-senior clients. They will come in and help with sorting and packing, and if it is something that fits into the senior's lifestyle, I will recommend that perhaps they move out and move to their next home, and then I can help with the updating of their existing home in order to get the highest possible price for the home. I have many wonderful vendors that I work with that will come in, and it really is important in today's market, even though it's a seller's market, to update a home. If one has the wherewithal to do that, I can completely manage the entire process while the senior has moved on to their next living situation, if that's something that they want to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
With that being said, and you mentioned getting them the highest price for what's in the market right now, I've seen other realtors, and I know you have too, we've had this conversation before, where realtors will try to get a quick sale, and so they'll sell it for under market. So tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, and I have seen this too, and I have such a heart for seniors because I do have my own elderly parents that I've dealt with, and I feel that in today's world there's so many people who are preying on seniors, whether it be through phone solicitations or trying to sell them something or whatever it might be. And I've noticed in my industry in particular, there have been times where I felt like a senior maybe sold their house less than market value because a real estate agent perhaps knocked on their door and said, hey, I have a buyer for your house. But what a senior should always understand is that in order to get the highest possible price for their house, it should be exposed to the entire market, not just this one real estate agent's buyer. So my recommendation is, if you are inclined to sell your property, expose it to the entire multiple listing service so that you can show as many buyers as possible your house and get the highest possible price. Don't sell it to somebody who just knocks at your door and says, hey, I have a buyer, because you don't know if you're getting the highest possible price in that situation, and that's really important.
Yeah, and we've seen that too with people that are just trying to get a quick sale, and it's really, it's not fair to the individual selling, because they can take a huge loss financially, and we were talking, it can even be seen as a form of financial elder abuse.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's really important, and Carolyn's very aware of these things, and she's going to make sure that that doesn't happen to her clients.
Right, and then the other thing, that if you are jumping into a quick sale, you should really be aware of what the tax consequences of that sale are. And if nobody is advising you on that, and not that you should get advice from a real estate agent, but you should seek professional tax advice, and that's critical.
Yeah.
So don't be talked into anything. Make sure that you're involving your family in your decisions, and that you're working with someone who has your best interest at heart.
Yeah, and Carolyn works with great companies like Horizon in making sure that houses are titled properly in the trust to prevent probates and things like that as well, to make sure that when there is a death, that things do get distributed the way that individuals want.
Right, very critical.
Yeah, and that we've talked a lot about that, and that's such a great thing that you provide, and all the resources that you provide for your clients. So what's one thing that you'd like our viewers to know about you?
Well, if I had to pick just one thing, it would be that I always work in my client's best interest. Never in my own interest or the interest of the other party in the transaction. I have just one thing in mind, and that's reaching the goals of the person who I am working for, and working in their best interest. And if they're a seller, getting them the highest possible price for their home. If they're a buyer, negotiating on their behalf to not spend the highest possible price. So it's really a negotiating thing, and I believe the value that I bring is in marketing and negotiation.
That's great. So one of the things that I've faced in buying too is knowing the market, right? As a buyer, I got outbid by somebody once, so yeah, I'm sure you're aware of that whole
right
process to make sure that your client understands this is the market, and sometimes you do have to pay the highest price in order to get the house.
Well, of course,
really want.
you do,
And that's true.
But you don't, as a buyer, you don't want to be competing against yourself.
Right.
So if there is a competitive situation, it's very important to be working with someone who has seen the relevant comparable properties in person, somebody who's very involved in the market, not someone who's just, when they get a phone call, they make an offer. Somebody who's out there every day looking at the inventory, so you know that when you're making an offer, that it's an educated offer.
Yeah, and I've had personally some really sticky situations in buying. I sold one, and everything went smoothly. I used Help You Sell. It was actually surprisingly great in Southern California, but in buying a couple of places here, I've had a lot of trouble. So it is really important that you feel like your realtor can really know the market, and you connect really well, that you have great communication, and you know that your realtor is going to always have your back. And I truly feel that Carolyn would have your back in every situation and everything. So anyway, is there anything else you want to add before we close?
I would just like to say that I enjoy working with seniors in our community, because I feel that they're underserved, not just in the real estate market, but in many ways. And I love seniors. I love working with them, because I know that I can help them achieve their goals.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Carolyn, so much for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie.
If you want to find out more information about Carolyn and her business, you can find all of her information on her main page on the Eldercare channel, as well as a link to her website and her phone number. And thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.